welcome to the Forcecast. Today, we'll be talking Star Wars. I am one of your anchors, Austin.
And I'm Morgan.
And today we have a special guest with us. We announced this on Facebook before. Today we have Melissa joining us. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, yep.
Nice to have another fellow nerd here with us.
Yes, she asked if she could be on the show so she could talk about some of these things. And we're very excited to have her here.
Yes, we are. Alright, before we get into that, we're going to do our On This Day segments. Do you want to start with Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
We can start with Star Wars, no offense.
I
I got my app up here. I have a couple things. One, very big stuff actually. Not this day, because this day isn't that interesting. But on the 5th, 3 days ago, January 5th, 1975, Ralph McQuarrie, the concept artist for A New Hope and actually most of Star Wars, completed his first painting of the concept art for C-3PO and R2 in the desert as a way of helping sell Star Wars to the studio execs at 20th Century Fox.
Oh, that's cool.
Big day for Star Wars, original concept art. You've probably seen this image before.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's fun.
Fun fact, Ralph McQuarrie's concept art was actually the big influence on the design of the animated show Star Wars Rebels. Very heavily influenced by that. And that's really all I got for...
Would it be the same for Clone Wars too? Because it was very similar
No.
animation.
No,
Well,
not the animation.
Oh, I
Ralph
get what you're
McQuarrie, but
saying.
like the design for Lothal, the characters, the lightsabers, even like
I
Vader's
gotcha.
very heavily based off of Ralph McQuarrie's concept arts. That's pretty much all I got. I mean, in 1987, tomorrow is when Star Tours first opened in Disneyland.
1987, that's when I was born.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Very, very historic year then.
Yay!
And yeah.
Oh, have you guys been to Disneyland before?
Nope.
He hasn't. I've been once.
Did you go on Star Tours?
That was before Star Tours.
It wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
they,
Oh, okay.
they hadn't reopened it at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, I didn't get to see Star Tours. I didn't really get to see a whole lot of it. We were there for our choir tour, my
Okay, gotcha.
senior
Yeah,
year.
it was seen.
Okay.
Yeah, junior year. Senior year we went to Seattle.
That's right, because we both went to Seattle.
Yes, we
Orchestra
did.
and choir.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about how, I love, Star Tours is, one of the best rides at Disneyland. I love that.
I do want
so
to go on that ride.
It
That'd be
is
really cool.
Pretty awesome. The what's it called? Good heavens, now all of a sudden I'm
Trust me, we blanked so many times on this
help
too.
you here.
Lightspeed is the best
yeah.
part.
Oh.
It is super
Yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah, I'll have.
You'll have to go someday.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I
Well,
would
I'll
love
have
that.
something to say about Lightspeed here in a minute. But Morgan, what's this day in Lord of the Rings history?
All right, from this day in Lord of the Rings, only one thing that I've got is, it gives the years. It's 3019 in the Third Age. The company, or the Fellowship. It says the company. Yeah, there's a Fellowship, then there's a company, Thor and Oak and Shield. But the Fellowship reaches Holland, which, if you don't know where that is, it's the area close to Karadras, where the Fellowship in the movie takes a rest, and then they're discovered by the Crebain from Dunland, the birds that Saruman sends to them. I'm gonna go full nerd here. It's just outside the area of Eregion. Like I said, it's close to Karadras. It says it's also close to Moria. I don't think they really showed that. Whatever.
TH is a TH, remember.
I know, but it's so hard to hear the TH, so it sounds like a D to me. But yeah, that's today and also tomorrow, at least in the book history, because I guess they spent a little more time in the
Well, we don't
area.
know how much time passes in the book.
That's true. Well, it says the company reaches Holland, and then for tomorrow it says the Fellowship travels through Holland. Yeah, they don't show time all that well in the Lord of the Rings, or even the Hobbit, because it just seems like it only takes days. When in reality, it's probably closer to years.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Months.
And I know, the Hobbit seems like it only takes a few days, and then Bilbo comes back. You've been gone 14 months.
Well, it takes time to travel.
I know, but... Anyway, that's all there is for On This Day in Lord of the Rings. So we'll get on to our topic for the day, which is Star Wars.
Yay.
Yes.
Big topic. At least in our household. I'm sure it's the same probably for you, Melissa.
Oh yeah.
Can't see this, but I'm holding my Ultra Saber's lightsaber in my hand.
I wish you guys could see him right now. He has a lightsaber and his Han Solo blaster with him.
Yes, DL-44 on the table.
Both of which look pretty legit.
Yes, except this one's chipped. That's my fault.
If you pointed it out, no one would probably notice.
I didn't notice.
Which, fun fact, although I'm sure a lot of people who know me already know this, but we had lightsabers at mine and my husband's wedding.
Yes, my idea.
That's awesome.
That's what happens when all the groomsmen plus the groom have lightsabers. Either the expensive kind, or there was one kind of cheap looking one, but it still was really
Maybe
cool.
we should upload a few photos when we post this thing.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Yeah, just upload some wedding photos, some of our photo shoot from the lightsabers.
Yeah, probably throughout the podcast on our YouTube link we'll have some photos included from my wedding, and we also have done a photo shoot with our cool lightsabers. I also have one. I don't have it with me, but mine is Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
In the style of.
The style of, yeah.
It's purple, but...
Yeah, I have it as purple.
Actually, technically you have it as silver, but you can change the color with the little light discs.
Yes, mine, the colors are interchangeable, which is so cool.
It's fun.
And the handle is flipping huge.
It's very
and heavy. It's
Very
very heavy.
That's her husband's fault. He didn't know there was a smaller version that I was telling him about.
Which, that's fine. I still like using it. Yeah, my husband and my brother, who was on his mission at the time, actually surprised me with it. They conspired.
Yes, what you said earlier about spending money on
investing
in your nerdiness. This is it.
There you go. But yeah, we've been watching Star Wars since we were
as long as I can
little.
remember. Literally as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first saw Star Wars? Do you remember?
I had to be like 7 or 8 at least, because we went to Disneyland for the first time when I was 8, and I knew what Star Wars was when I went on the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was. I really kind of like that I have a set age that I watch Star Wars at, because I can remember that first time watching it. Like, my dad is the person who like introduced us to it. It was on like the Sci-Fi Channel, and they were having a big marathon. He was like, "Oh, these movies are so good," and so we're all like watching them, like, "Oh, what?
Like, this is so cool."
See,
Yeah.
the one, I guess, maybe regret I could say of having watched Star Wars pretty much my whole life is that, spoiler alert, Darth Vader being Luke's father was common knowledge.
Yeah, that's true, because I remember watching it, and I actually had that surprise of like, what?
I know,
And
I
so,
always knew it. So like, my parents got it spoiled for them before.
Yes, our parents actually had it spoiled.
Sad.
But I mean, you hear about like how big of a deal a reveal like that was. Not just as a movie, like that no one saw coming, and that was a very well kept secret. I love that. Do you know the story behind the secret?
I feel like I've read it before, but
Maybe.
I'm not.
There are only
right
3
now.
people who knew
Okay.
the actual line. That was George Lucas, of course, Mark Hamill, who was told to react as such, and then James Earl Jones, of course, who said the line. Because David Prowse, who was in the suit, said, "Obi-Wan killed your father." That was the line he read.
Oh, okay.
And Mark Hamill was told, "Okay, this is the actual line, so react like he says this." And it's kind of funny because I can imagine David Prowse being at the premiere like, "Oh, people are gonna die after I tell them this," and then it's a different line.
You're like, what the heck?
Or like he says the line and he watches Luke's reaction and he's like, why
So
are you
too
like so upset?
Don't even be that upset. What the
Mark Hamill also said, I think it was on Graham Norton when promoting either The Force Awakens or Last Jedi.
It was probably on Graham Norton.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Graham Norton. He does an amazing Harrison Ford, by the way. His Mark Hamill's Harrison Ford impression is hilarious.
If you want to hear his real good Harrison Ford, go to Bad Lip Reading.
Yeah, Bad
Force
Lip Reading,
Awakens.
Force Awakens. It's Mark Hamill as Han
Do
Solo.
you do you see Bad Lip Reading?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Those are
gosh.
so funny.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
So Mark Hamill and Graham Norton, he says that he knew about this, and so he was just excited to see how everyone else reacted. He was sitting next to Harrison Ford at the premiere for Empire Strikes Back, and he says the line, and Harrison turns to him, and I'm going to censor myself for this one. He says, "Hey, you didn't tell me that." That was his Han Solo. That was his Harrison Ford impression.
Yeah. Seriously though, like, that one scene, like, just impacted, like, movie culture everywhere.
Yeah, and so growing up always knowing that, it doesn't have, I watch Empire Strikes Back, there's no impact. I just know it,
Well, and, like, they use that, like, they reference it in, like, so many things, like, Toy Story 2.
Oh, yeah.
Surrogate bus.
It's a culture.
That was hilarious.
Oh, that was Well, there's a Star Wars reference in every Toy Story movie.
There is, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in some way or shape or form. I don't remember the first one, but there's that one in the second one. And then the third one, when Baby throws Lotso into the trash.
Oh.
It's supposed to be reminiscent of Vader throwing the Emperor.
Oh.
I've only seen that movie a couple of times, so I didn't remember that.
What about number 1? Is there one?
Yeah, there is. I just don't remember what it was. I'm trying to think about it right
Guess
now.
we need to watch Toy Story again.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I read that on like IMDb, that there's some kind of a reference to Star Wars in each of the Toy Story
Well,
movies.
with the fourth one coming, I'll have to look for another one.
That's true.
Okay, where's the Star Wars reference?
Yeah.
Well, and then,
also, MCU. Every movie, I think, since Phase 2 of Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is a Star Wars reference. In every movie, at least one character loses a hand.
You know what? You're right.
Except Infinity War, I think.
I don't remember anyone losing a hand in that one, so yeah.
Well, the one,
There might be others I'm missing.
Well, say there was the guy that got his hand chopped off by Wong's magic.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
There we are.
Obsidian Cold. So there's at least one MCU movie where someone did not lose a hand in some way, shape, or form.
Thanos should have lost a hand.
In a well, we're not talking about the MCU.
I know. Sorry, tangent.
But the funny thing is, Star Wars is a big cultural thing. I mean, so many things reference it. So many things take, not liberties, but they pay homage to it. They kind of borrow from it, type of. It's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. Like, so in one of my film classes, like back when I was going to school, I think our teacher was talking about Star Wars and everything, and there was one kid who was all like, "Wait, is Star Wars still popular?" And I just looked at him. I was like, "What rock have you been under? And are you in the right major?" Because
I know, right?
Yeah, if you don't know Star Wars is still popular, you do not belong in film.
Well,
apparently, okay.
I think the rock thing is accurate because if he ever walks into any Walmart or Target,
There's Star Wars everywhere.
We were just talking about this. I forget who. I think I was talking about this with Mom and Dad yesterday. Literally since 1977, there has not been a day where there's not a Star Wars product on a shelf somewhere.
True enough.
It's been 40 years. Yeah. And there's not been one day.
Well, I mean, there was probably like a time.
Maybe.
Between, because I remember when I first watched Star Wars, none of my friends really knew what it was exactly,
Yeah,
and then it kind of, I don't know, grew a little bit, as I told my friends and stuff. And
they had no idea it'd be this big.
Yeah, exactly. Huge. Well, and then so when Phantom Menace came out when I was in 6th grade and stuff, it started to pick back up again and everything, and it was kind of I knew about this before it was cool. But so
I remember being, I don't even remember how old, but young. And seeing the trailer for that, for Phantom Menace, and the coolest thing just being Darth Maul whipping out that double-bladed lightsaber, something you've never seen before. You're like, what is this?
Each trilogy, you gotta add one more blade to your lightsaber.
That's true, but then the sequel trilogy, Kylo Ren busts out the three-bladed one.
Looking forward to the 4-bladed lightsaber next trilogy.
Well, we already got that with General Grievous.
It's 4 lightsabers.
I know.
No,
I wanted to make that joke.
You really got it from Pong Krell, if you remember.
Don't talk to me about Krell.
So how much, are you mostly the movies, or do you do the TV shows, or even the books, or anything?
Mostly just movies.
Just the movies?
My husband owns the books, and he's read them. So we have them. I just haven't actually read them. He's told me a few.
There's too many books. There's too many books to read.
There's a
perfect,
lot.
in my opinion. These are the legends.
But you haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels or any of those.
I think I've seen just a little bit of some of them, and they look really good. I just haven't had time to watch them all and everything.
Well, I remember when the movie for the Clone Wars came out. I was kind of like, okay, an animated Star Wars show, I don't know about that. And then we went and saw it, and I thought, this actually might be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And we enjoyed the show a lot.
Well, I recently went through a kind of a binge of the Clone Wars in lieu of the Season 7 announcement. 10 years of the Clone Wars announced the final season to be announced, to be released on Disney Plus, after being canceled and secretly worked on for the next 5 years, I think.
However long it's...
Oh yeah, it's a big deal. Like, honestly, it was amazing, and I'll tell more about that later, but I went through a binge of it, and I love the Clone Wars. For all of you listening, I love the Clone Wars to death. However, that first season is not the greatest show. I mean, even the movie. I understand.
The movie had its good moments.
It did, but I understand why people didn't like Ahsoka when she first became a thing, because she did
seem a little
not the
bratty.
greatest written, and I get it, maybe not written. Maybe she was supposed to be written like that, but I don't know.
She turned into something so much greater.
She's become enormous and immortal. Apparently, we'll find out more about that. We don't even know what's happening to her. Ahsoka Tano is the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. No one knew existed.
Okay, see, like, my kids have gotten library books before and everything, and I've read them to them, so I know, like, characters that you're talking about and stuff, but yeah.
Yes, Ahsoka Tano, spoiler alert, apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, everyone assumed throughout the entire show she was going to die. Whenever there was a season finale centered around her, we all thought she was going to die. Turns out she didn't die. She survived Order 66 and later helped to form the Rebel Alliance, and apparently survived that too. We don't even know where she's at now.
She's amazing.
Dave Filoni won't tell us.
Flippin' Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni, man. Heart and soul of Star Wars, in my opinion, right there. Dave Filoni.
Mm-hmm.
Creator of Rebels, Clone Wars, and Resistance, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
The voice of Chopper, which I called, for those of you who watch Rebels, I totally called that Chopper was Dave Filoni.
Chopper's a droid.
And throughout the entire show, they persisted. They would show on the credits Chopper as himself. And he persisted throughout it's just Chopper. He was a liar.
But he doesn't like beep or anything like RT
He almost clucks. He's like a chicken.
Like he sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Yeah, that's better. Take a chicken and combine it with that, and you got. But I've been watching Rebels again. I got the first 2 seasons for Christmas, and I was watching through them. Actually, I just finished season 1 today.
Oh.
And I actually think it's kind of funny. Like, it's even more obvious now because they are pretty much always bashing on Chopper because he's just a grumpy old droid. And so I can just imagine. Well, I can just literally, and it's not like R2 or it's almost reused sounds every time. Mm-hmm. He's got his. You can tell what he's saying. Okay, Chopper, he will say something, and you can tell what he's saying.
You can tell when he gets the attitude.
Yeah.
You know, the attitude.
Well, you can almost hear him say. It's like, did he just say a sentence? And so I can imagine Dave Filoni standing there in this booth with the other actors making these Charlie Brown teacher noises and then just yelling at him because he's the director. Uh-huh. He's the director and the executive producer of the show. So I can see them just pretending to take out their frustrations on him while he's over in the corner.
And fun fact, Chopper actually makes a cameo in Rogue One.
In Rogue One, yes.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he does.
Very, very brief and very in the back.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it the first time. I should have heard him.
I know, we found out, we went, where is Chopper? We need to look for him.
I did notice the Ghost. The Ghost is the Millennium Falcon of Rebels. It's the ship they... Well, that's kind of what it is.
I know.
It's the ship they hang out on. It's in Rogue One. I count about 6 times in Rogue One.
Which is funny because I still can't spot it.
Oh, I have an eye for this. You know.
Yes, you do. You do have an eye for that stuff.
So, I want to ask you, Melissa. Just your opinion. Which do you prefer? The originals, prequels, sequels, standalone movies? Like, which would you pick?
I feel like originals are the very best.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that's maybe partly because they are the originals. But, but I like how, I feel like the story, the plot, the characters, I really like the technology, too. Because, I mean, I don't know, I guess, like, some people might argue, like, well, CGI is much cooler and blah, blah, blah. But, like, what I really love about, like, the models and the puppets and everything is that they are tangible. So it really looks like
it looks a whole lot more real.
Yes, I feel like it looks a lot more real. Like you could actually
I remember I watched a behind the scenes thing. I think on the Blu-ray of when I got the Blu-ray set of the complete saga.
Oh yeah.
Which was not a worthwhile purchase. Watch the Return of the Jedi on the. I don't know if they still have it in the Blu-ray, but when they released the complete saga, on Blu-ray.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, we both know.
DigiWicket. Like, they digitalized Wicket's eyes, because they said, the Ewoks...
That was creepy!
The Ewoks don't blink. Well, he's the only one who they made blink, and he's got these large, bulbous, horror film eyes. That and the baby Ewok. They gave him the digi eyes, and they made him terrifying.
I don't remember the baby.
And then Darth Vader's final...
Oh, yeah.
And as he throws the Emperor down.
That's my only thing, about the originals is when they went in and fixed them, or whatever, is it's so jarring. It's not consistent, and it's and especially in A New Hope when Han Solo has that conversation with Greedo and he's
hashtag Han shot first.
Right, and with Greedo and he's and they have that conversation. Well, then 2 seconds later, Han Solo goes to see Jabba, and they have the exact, almost line for line, same conversation, and it's so unnecessary, and it's. Why did we even put this in here?
It's why did we even need Greedo?
That's George Lucas.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't really like how they changed Jabba, how he looked. I don't know if
he looked bad in either one.
That's true. He didn't look all that great.
In the VHS special edition release and in the DVD special edition release, he still did not look that good.
I mean, he's a giant slug.
He looks good in episode 6. As a ginormous puppet.
Yeah.
That's true.
I love hearing the story. I mean, the puppetry is honestly very amazing.
It is.
Have you seen Solo?
I haven't seen that yet.
Solo's really
I have
Solo's
not
good.
gotten around to it yet.
Solo's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest Star Wars movie, but it's a very enjoyable movie. I bring this up because in Solo, there's at the beginning there's a character kind of Jabba-like.
Okay.
This big worm lady who's a puppet. And you can tell. You look at her, it's always funny. They almost seem to go out of their way when they make the Star Wars puppets to make sure that their mouths don't sync up with the words. To remind you, because it's actually a very impressive puppet. Because I saw behind the scenes, there's just a bunch of people, in green screen suits manipulating the arms. And that's the thing with Jabba. There's 6 people inside of Jabba the Hutt manipulating his mouth, his tail, his eyes.
I kept wondering how they did that.
Puppetry.
Well, I know it was a puppet, but I don't know if... Again,
not Frank Oz puppet.
Well, no. I know not that. I just didn't know if they were inside him or if they were operating on the outside.
It was an inside thing.
Not like Treebeard kind of thing where it's basically just him.
Yeah, it was a big puppet with people inside of it manipulating it.
Oh, that's cool.
Which probably was very stuffy and uncomfortable.
Those poor guys. I gotta say, I like the originals because obviously that's what started this whole phenomena. Yeah, you can't ever beat the originals, basically of almost anything. Almost anything. And it gave us, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia, the most probably beloved characters. Also Chewie, Yoda, Obi-Wan. Almost everyone knows who they are, pretty much. And they're great. Leia is one of my favorite female characters of all time because she's so kick butt and not the typical damsel in distress kind of thing. Which I don't totally mind characters like that. But she was just awesome.
She kind of got the best of both worlds because she was a princess and she got to be awesome. So
that's true.
But.
And later became a general, so cool.
Yeah.
She was a princess who was no, I can save myself. She even says that to Han. Someone has to save our skins while totally shooting down these stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And then Han's I don't know whether I like you or not right now.
It's cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't ever really beat the originals, and I get some of the things with the sequels where they're I know people were mad when they they killed off Han. Spoiler. And
that was gonna happen.
Yeah, well,
Harrison Ford.
I get why they didn't
Harrison Ford didn't even really want to come back and do Star Wars. So
which is a little sad, because he does a good job.
He didn't really ever love the part of Han Solo. He loved Indiana Jones, and he would do that any day. But Han Solo.
Han Solo was just space Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Right. Not
just,
quite, but
he doesn't have a hat and a whip, but he has the blaster.
Yeah, I read a thing so that he doesn't hate Han. A lot of people think he hates. He's I don't hate him. I just enjoy Indiana Jones more.
Yeah.
And he was actually supposed to die in Episode 6, Han Solo, not Indiana Jones.
There was an Episode 6 of Indiana Jones, but okay.
He was supposed to die. He was supposed to die in Episode 6, but they wrote that out. But he thought it was a good ending for the character, so that's why. When he came back, it was almost guaranteed he was gonna have to die.
It was one of those, even though I just hoped it never would happen. So then, of course, in theaters, I'm shocked. Holy crap, Han Solo's dead.
It was a moment.
I kind of knew that he was probably gonna die, and so it was just oh, sad. There he goes.
Yeah.
It was a moment we all saw it come. Most of us saw it. I saw it coming. I didn't want to accept it, but I saw it coming.
What is it Lando says in Solo? I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept
it. Yeah. Also, I love, even just as movies, the innovations that Star Wars took, especially the originals, sequels, and the spin-offs especially, because I can't really think of any innovations they did for the prequels, no offense. But, I mean, because, like, when you talk about the models and how real they looked, like, I remember seeing a thing on the Blu-ray, this is actually why I brought up the Blu-ray, was kind of how many pieces had to fall in place before the movies were made in order to make them. For example, there's a technology they had just developed that would allow you to pretty much put a camera on a track and program how it moved. So that way, and what they did is, like, with shots of TIE fighters chasing X-Wings, they would shoot the TIE fighter, or they would film the X-Wing doing its movements with the camera, and then they would film the TIE fighter, and the camera's doing the exact same movements. So they were able to overlay them over each other because it's doing the exact same stuff in the exact same time. And so, like that shot where Luke's being chased by a TIE fighter and the TIE fighters, you know, in the foreground, that was done by that.
Remember how we said Austin is the big Star Wars nerd?
I know a lot of things. This one, okay, and this one's my favorite. You brought up hyperspace. This is my favorite. This is another reason why I love Solo, is because of the innovation
I know what you're
here.
talking about.
This blew my mind when I saw it. When they film Solo, usually they just have like a green screen, blue screen, you know, in front of the cockpit of the Falcon or whatever they're flying. But I don't know whose idea this was, Ron Howard's or who will have you, but they had this big wraparound projection screen that was about a 270-degree angle on the Falcon. They pre-rendered all of the footage of the Kessel Run and all that stuff, and they projected it onto this screen. So as they're flying, they're actually looking around, and they see a TIE fighter there, or they see an asteroid.
Yeah, so they're not just looking at a green screen and pretending they're actually seeing
that is
all that
such a
stuff
good idea.
happening.
And same with hyperspace. They said after the cast first went into hyperspace, they all like freaked out because they're actually
like, holy crap, this is actually hyperspace.
But I also noticed when watching Solo, it seems like the light and the interactions with like the light, I guess with the light interaction, is more realistic. Like because there's a lot of blue and flashing bright lights and things like that, and reds. It seemed much more realistic because it's actually being projected onto their faces. So,
that I think is just really, really cool.
Love that. That was amazing.
Now, if you want to experience hyperspace in real life, just drive at night when there's snow.
When there's a lot of snow,
right?
wind,
then it really looks like hyperspace.
Now, there's also I forget its official name, but the new Star Wars theme park being open in Disneyland and Disney World.
I forget its name too, but I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I thought it was just Star Wars Land, but whatever. I don't know.
It's got a name.
Does it? Okay.
I think it does have a name. I've seen stuff for
All
it.
I know right now is that it's too expensive. Disney just shot up their prices again.
Well, okay. I don't know. Is it okay if I go on a small tangent?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, because we just barely went, and it was like,
And
our
I've seen your
tickets.
pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, but like our tickets were already just a little bit over 100 per day already. So I'm all like, so I don't know. Well, I don't understand why everyone's like freaking out about like this. Oh, their prices are going up because I'm like, they already are.
Yeah.
But like, so like, I don't know.
Just even more money.
I don't know. Like maybe if they would have said like over 120, over 130 or something like that, maybe I'd understand. But like over 100, I'm like, they already are over 100. Since when is this new news? I don't know.
By the way,
But
I don't really know.
this is not related to.
jeez.
That's not related to, but comic. I mean, I pulled up a little thing saying there's a comic book coming out with Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Hondo Ohnaka. Greatest character. Not actually. That's not actually my favorite. I love Hondo, but he's not my favorite. He's like a special kind of character. Let's see, where is this? This gotta be here on the Star Wars app.
It's
Oh, here
probably
it is.
on there somewhere.
Galaxy's Edge. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. That's what it's-
Galaxy's
right.
Edge.
Black
I
Spire
remember hearing
Outpost.
I'm sitting there going, I know I've seen so many things for it. What is it?
Yeah, it's called Galaxy's Edge, which was plugged very, very, I don't know, smartly or smugly or I don't know what have you, because apparently it's Black Spire Outpost. Galaxy's Edge is actually supposedly a place in universe, which was plugged in Solo. They mentioned Black Spire, and in the most recent Thrawn book, they go to Black Spire Outpost. I'm like, did they know this, or was this just like?
You want to explain who Thrawn is?
Thrawn is.
I know the name. Because my husband's mentioned it.
Yeah,
I don't really know so many details about him. But
Thrawn is, in my opinion, the greatest villain Star Wars has ever produced.
Austin has a big man crush on him.
Thrawn, I mean, he's amazing. Like, all you fans out there who know Thrawn, please back me up on this. I mean, he's tactician extraordinaire. He's smarter than everyone in the Empire. I don't know exactly canonically what's going to happen to him now because he was in Rebels and he was portrayed amazingly by Lars Mikkelsen. Did an amazing job.
He's very good at playing very creepy men.
Yeah, he's cold. He's calculating. But he's.
Yes, if any of you watch Sherlock, he's Magnuson in season 3.
Yes.
okay.
He's also. I mean, Thrawn is just. I mean, he's different. That's why I also like him because he's different than Vader and Tarkin and the Emperor. I mean, where Tarkin and Vader are all like, let's just kill everyone. Thrawn will even let them get away sometimes just to learn more about him. He's smart.
It's all part of the plan.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And the only
I love
reason,
that guys like that.
and for those of you who watch Rebels, the only reason Thrawn lost were for reasons beyond his control that he had absolutely no idea were actually a thing. He had everything under control until there's different things that show up, but just like out of nowhere, it's like, where did this come from? Almost Deus Ex Machina, but not
part
quite.
of the calculation.
He's a walking calculator.
Yeah.
That is true.
He's amazing. He's a big Star Wars. He's a big piece of Star Wars history. I mean, the first books actually that were written in the expanded universe after Return of the Jedi were heir to the Empire, or was heir to the Empire, which is where Thrawn was first introduced as a main villain. He kind of survived Return of the Jedi and went to make some big trouble for Luke and all them.
Seriously, I'm telling you, if you ever need to know anything outside the movies, ask him.
He
knows like everything.
I spend a lot of time on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, he knows so much about the expanded universe, whether it's books, comics.
Not
stuff.
the recent expanded. I mean.
Well, yeah,
not
but
the,
you know
the
a crap
canon
more than
universe.
anybody else. Which, also kind of a fun fact. My first date with my husband brought him back to our house, and I knew he was a Star Wars nerd before then, which I was like, okay, I like Star Wars too, and, if things go well, he'll get along with my brother. So, I brought him to the house, and introduced him to my family, and Austin comes down, and I said, hey, Paul, my husband, I'm like, he's
not husband at this point.
Well, yeah, I'm just clarifying who Paul is. But I say he's a Star Wars nerd too, and Paul asked him, who's your favorite character?
No, it was the other way around.
I thought it was.
No.
I never get this right.
I asked him who his favorite character was.
Oh, that's right.
And he asked if he was limited to the movies or to the expanded universe, and I allowed him the expanded universe. And he said, Revan. Pause for the fans, those you know Revan. Revan, greatest Jedi.
And I knew that Revan was Austin's favorite.
I love Revan. Revan's beastly.
I know a bit about him only from what Austin's told me. And so, of course, Paul says Revan, and they freak out, and I just went, oh my gosh, he's a bigger Star Wars nerd than I thought. Nothing bad about it, but it was just kind of like, oh, he's really going to get along with Austin. And sure enough, they do. They get along.
There was that
very
moment
swimmingly.
I told her to marry him.
Don't let this one go!
I did.
I'm pretty sure you actually did.
I did.
Did
Probably
you-
embarrassed both of you. But.
Did you actually use the phrase marry him, or did you just say, like, keep him, or
I
something?
said marry him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. Marry this man.
Marry him.
And, well, I followed his advice, and I
guess.
did. So.
I wasn't trying to embarrass him or her, but I guess it probably happened that way.
Oh, I've done that to people before. Like, I'll find out, something about them that I like, and I'll just be like, hey, keep them. You need to bury them. But yeah, well, it worked out. So.
Yes, it did.
But yeah, for those of you that know the expanded universe, all that extra stuff, kudos to you. I don't know that much, only just what Austin's ever told me.
Probably not too much. At this point, probably most of it is superfluous because of the fact most of it is decanonized.
That's true.
Which, honestly, I did not take as hard as most other people did. I felt some of the expanded universe was superfluous, like Emperor Palpatine's 11 resurrections.
Oh, wow.
Literally. Cloned himself, transported his spirit, nullified everything that happened in Return of the Jedi, and did it multiple times. I felt that was not necessary.
Overkill.
Little overkill.
We already had a giant army of clones. We don't need any more, especially of the Emperor.
Yeah. And again, it nullifies everything that happened in Return of the Jedi, so it's like, well, that was pretty useless, actually.
Yeah.
Now, events like Thrawn, even the Yuzon Vong War, very interesting and potentially very interesting stuff, actually. And, Yuzon Vong were going to appear in the Clone Wars. Dave Filoni mentioned they were going to have an episode, an alien abduction episode.
Don't they have that enough already?
Well, more like a lot of the episodes of the Clone Wars are homages or just kind of like inspired by other movies or just movie genres. So this is going to be like an alien, like an old 70s, 80s alien abduction movie episode.
Oh, gosh.
Again, much respect for Dave Filoni.
So now, which of all the Star Wars movies that are in existence, which would you say is your favorite?
Oh.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I would say, I still like Empire Strikes Back.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, that one is really good. When I first saw them when I was younger, I would have said Return of the Jedi, but then like after a little while, I was like, no, never mind. I really like that. Back then it was second one, but like
now it's just what is it?
I can't remember.
We lost.
Yeah, no, I love that one though a lot.
And that's where you like when you're an adult, that grew up with the originals, saw the prequels, and then you have kids. You're like, well, what order do I show it to them? Do I
4, 5, 6?
Yeah, say do you start the original?
You start with the originals.
Oh yeah.
No otherwise,
or some just forsake the prequels completely.
Just like, we already know that.
Yeah.
We saw that in episode 1, 2, and 3. We knew that already.
Yeah, I think it's way better to go. Yeah.
4, 5, 6,
just like how they came out. Yeah.
Not doing like a marathon. Sometimes we've done it before. We did it in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because we'd seen them already.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just for fun.
Yeah.
We've done Star Wars marathons.
And we're probably never going to actually get to finish an entire Star Wars marathon, given the fact that there are movies coming out so frequently, which I'm okay with. I just like getting more Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not complaining either. I mean, like I said, can't go wrong with the originals. I do like Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi, I like most. This is probably an very unpopular fan
opinion.
But I like the Ewoks. I
like Ewoks.
Okay, good.
They are so cute.
I don't mind Ewoks.
Okay, good.
Have you seen like the Ewok movies?
No.
Did you not know that there were Ewok movies?
I did
there was
not
television.
know.
There was a cartoon
There
show.
are. That wasn't a cartoon show. There were 2 Ewok movies.
Oh.
And they were like, I can't remember off the top of my head like what they were called, but yeah, it was like Wicket was in there, like he was like biggest like Ewok character in there, and then there was like a boy and a girl, and their parents were like captured by this evil monster kind of thing and stuff, and so they had to go save them, and the Ewok Adventure, that's what it was called.
Oh,
anyway,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like I mean. Yes, they were cheesy, but they were fun, and I liked them because I was a kid. So
I just know there's some people had a problem with the Ewoks. I think they're adorable. There's like little teddy bears.
Fans have always had some problem with Star Wars. It's literally been a thing since
It's unavoidable.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is sad.
That's why I enjoy being a part of the fandom of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where no one has a problem with anything.
Yeah.
We just love it. We just love it for what it is.
Yep.
Again, we try not to talk about the negative stuff on here.
I do also really like The Force Awakens. For one, it's I don't want to say new age Star Wars, but I mean, it came out in my young adult years, and so it's like, sweet, I still get to enjoy Star Wars, new characters, new ships, creatures, all that stuff.
Old shit. We still have the Falcon.
We'll
yes. Always have the Falcon.
And the Falcon will always be garbage.
Resurrected.
Unless it blows up in the next movie.
Please don't say that.
I've been anticipating everyone's death since they announced the movie.
And frankly, I just really like the character of Rey. She is, again, another strong female character that, we can have in this day and age, especially for younger girls. There's a picture of your daughter that has Rey on her shirt that you made.
Yeah, I said that for her, and it's...
Does she like Rey?
She does, yeah. I did her hair like Rey and everything too. And she actually, the last time...
That is not easy to do.
It isn't easy to do. She's like, are you done yet? No, but yeah, and we went to the library comic convention thing that they have. And she saw a Rey doll there, and she was just like, I gotta have this. So being the great, very good parents that we are.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, and on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, about a year or two back, we were having a choir party, and so of course a lot of people were like, we gotta play Force Awakens. It's Star Wars Day, because that was the only one that had come out by then. And I was like, okay, I had a BB-8 shirt that I wore. Love BB-8, he's adorable. And I was like, I gotta be fun and do my hair like Rey, and I don't know how long I spent doing my hair.
We also have curly hair, which doesn't probably help too much.
It did okay, but my problem was, like, the top bun was too big, and then by the time I got to the bottom one, I'm like, there's hardly any hair left. And then, like, they were either off-center, completely, uneven, and, like, I had hair falling out, and it was just like, how the heck does Rey do this every day?
In the desert without a mirror!
She probably just doesn't ever undo it.
Apparently she didn't, because she had the same hairstyle as a little girl.
Hygiene, yeah, exactly. Hygiene is not really a big thing when you live on a desert planet.
And yet her hair looked fabulous when it was down in Last Jedi, in my opinion.
That's probably the first time she'd actually gotten it wet since she was 5.
Oh my.
Desert planet.
That's true. That's
you use that water to drink.
You don't think about.
You use that water to drink. You don't do anything else. You drink that water, otherwise.
Now this is my thing, and it's probably just me. I know Austin doesn't think much of it, but I mean the women in Star Wars are known to have really weird, crazy hairstyles. I mean, obviously, you have the famous buns, with Princess Leia, the cinnamon rolls. Amidala had Padme had so many weird hairstyles. So then, of course, Rey comes out, and she's got 3 buns, okay. But then you have Rogue One, and Jyn just has her hair in one bun.
Morgan has a big problem with her hair and Kira's hair for no particular reason.
It's a ponytail!
What's wrong with that?
It's Star Wars! Women don't have normal hairstyles! I mean, that's just me, and that's just because I think the hairstyles are kind of fun to do, if you can do it.
I thought other Star Wars fans were picky.
I mean, I don't judge a movie by it. It's just kind of like, oh man, they did their hair in a bun or a ponytail, but whatever. I still like them. It's just kind of like, when you think of women in Star Wars, you think again the 3 buns, the cinnamon rolls, the big halo thing that Queen Amidala had, whatever that was.
That was crazy.
I remember
but what about when Padme was just handmaiden Padme? Her hair was normal then.
No, it wasn't a little braided bun thing.
Yeah, it was pretty normal.
Oh yeah.
Not according to the doll.
I give her a lot of garbage about this because I think it's really bad.
I don't know. That's just how I always saw it. I still love Jyn and Kira. They're awesome. But that's just my personal nitpicking.
Having been almost a year to the day since I saw Rogue One coming off my mission, greatest moment in Star Wars, I believe, is when Vader appears on the ship.
You have seen Rogue One, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Rogue One is super good. I really like that one a lot.
That one I honestly thought felt more like the original movies. Like, not that against the sequels, but yeah, it was supposed to feel like...
supposed to. And, I mean, Vader was amazing, and that was... I felt that scene was very true to Star Wars in general. Vader has tons of comics because they're just filled with amazing shots of Vader with just these amazing angles that just have him look so menacing and just terrifying. And I felt that scene in Rogue One where he just mows through a group of rebels is so true to Vader. And actually
he laughed like a maniac when Vader appeared.
It just looked so amazing. I love that shot.
It was so
also,
funny. I recorded
in my opinion, greatest cameo in that movie, no offense, is not Vader, but is red and gold leaders.
Yes!
Because they were actual archived footage from the Battle of Yavin of the 2 actors. This is gold leader, that whole thing. Actually them, and it was just remastered and all that stuff for Rogue One, and I thought it was amazing because I was like, them, it's actually them, it's not.
I remember seeing the movie for the first time and going like, wait a second, I mean those guys are probably either dead or old.
They're both dead.
They're dead. Okay.
I think they're both dead.
But I was just like, That I don't think that's CGI, because I mean they CGI Tarkin, who has definitely been long dead.
Yeah,
but I'm like, that looks like actual footage from the movies, but I knew the lines were different.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. That was my favorite cameo in that movie, and there's a lot of them, trust me. Chirrut became one of my favorites very quickly.
Chirrut Imwe, I love that guy.
Chirrut Imwe, mostly for the fact that he beat up a group of stormtroopers completely blind.
Are you kidding me? I'm blind.
Isn't that ripped from The Last Airbender? That's that line. Wasn't there a line exactly like it in The Last Airbender?
I think there was a line similar.
Something similar to it.
But I forget the actor's name. Actually improvised that, because he's like, why are they putting a bag over a blind guy?
Yeah. I don't know.
Which
they probably saw what he could do. So.
I think the second time I saw that movie, my husband and I went with his dad and his two brothers. My father-in-law laughed for like 5 minutes at that line. Like, we could hear him just sitting there, just still snickering to himself, and we're like, "You're still laughing?" I mean, it's funny, but
yeah.
Honestly, he thought that was great.
Some of my favorite shots. I love the originals. I will always speak good about the originals, and I really like the sequels. I think Force Awakens is amazing. The cinematography in the Falcon chase on Jakku and the X-Wing fights on Takodana and the Starkiller base are just amazing. The cinematography is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But some of my favorite shots come from the spin-off films, Rogue One and Solo. Again, the shot of Vader in the hallway. You don't get much better Vader than that.
Yeah. Which I'm not as big a villain fan as Austin is, but I will admit that shot when he just lights up that lightsaber in the dark hallway, I just went, "Whoa!"
Since I was little, bad guys get all the good stuff. Okay, Luke Skywalker doesn't shoot lightning out of his fingers. Like,
true.
Only the Emperor does that. Like,
or Count Dooku.
Transformers, only the Decepticons fly. Like, why don't the Autobots fly? And that's another story. But I just always thought the villains were cooler. They had the cooler. They had the cooler stuff. Imperials fly Star Destroyers. Like, they just look cool. But again, back to Rogue One. Just the shots of the Star Destroyers and the space battles are just awesome. Fan-filled. I love the story from Rogue One, actually, is that there's a bunch of shots in the trailers that were not in the movie. Mm-hmm. That were just really cool looking. And that was actually just, not Rian Johnson, but, what's his name? Crap. Who directed the movie? Gareth Edwards.
Oh, Gareth.
It was
I'm
just
sitting there working on it. Look it up.
It was Gareth Edwards and the cast on set saying, let's just film some stuff to put in the trailer. Make it look really cool, but not put it in the movie at all. It's just like, why'd you do that? Because it looked cool. But, one of my favorites, actually, this is actually a subtle one from Solo. They're leaving Kessel. This isn't too much of a spoiler. I mean, you know that.
It's okay.
You know the Falcon makes the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs. But they're leaving Kessel.
Knows that.
They're leaving Kessel, and Han is.
Unless you're right.
And Han is firing his DL-44 at a bunch of goons. He's backing onto the Falcon, and he gets on board, and he just runs off to see what's happening. And I love the shot because it's a continuous tracking shot from the set on Kessel up the ramp into the Falcon, which is something I've been saying we need forever, because I once discovered, watching behind-the-scenes footage like I like to do, is that whenever there's the Falcon on set, it's just the exterior. There's no interior, which kind of broke my heart, because I wanted to believe that there was an interior of this ship.
That you're actually walking into the Falcon.
Because whenever they film the Falcon, it's always in a studio in London. But apparently, I love this shot because it could be camera trickery, but it could also be incredibly genuine of him actually just backing from the set onto the Falcon in one continuous shot.
It is a cool shot.
I love that shot because it's just one of those things that's like, because it's always, kind of fake to me. It's like, let's leave the Falcon. And then they're on another set across the world, complete shot before they actually exited the Falcon. And it's all a lie.
Well,
so I love that shot for that reason, because it's just kind of the movie goer, or at least the movie fanatic in me. Not movie goer, but movie fanatic in me. I want to be a filmmaker, just to let you know. So I talk a lot about cinematography and things like that.
He looks for that kind of stuff. I mean, and granted, I do that kind of thing too, but that's just because I like learning how things are filmed. Mm-hmm. Just because, I mean, there's some cool stuff that happen where it's like, like the coolest thing could be like the most practical effect, or something like that, and you're like,
or the improvised moment.
Yeah, or the improvisation is just awesome.
Look up any list on the internet of or of the most famous improvised movie moments, not just in Star Wars. Well, not really in Star Wars, but in anything. And some of the most iconic things. Here's Johnny from The Shining, improvised. I'm walking here. That's improvised. Supposedly, actually, isn't that really confirmed?
I heard it was.
I've heard that so too, but I've also heard it's not really confirmed. It probably is, but
well, even like the part with like, "I love you, I know."
Also improvised.
That was
that's right.
Because he said "I love you" too didn't really fit for Han Solo.
Yeah,
so.
Which I agree. I think that would have felt weird for him to be like, "I love you too." It was just more and the thing too about it was with it being like his character to be more like I know. I don't know. There was something about it that was just kind of made him more awesome.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, and through that whole movie, like he kept acting like I know you have feelings for me. I know you like me. I know you want to kiss me, like that kind of stuff. So then in that moment where she actually like admits it, it's just kind of like a subtle like, I already knew that.
Well, one of my favorite kind of memes I saw on the internet was it's Leia saying "I love you" in the shot of Han, but instead of just subtitling "I know," it just has that little check mark that says "seen," like whenever you see a text. So it's just kind of it's almost like what he's saying. It's like, yeah, I saw it, I know.
That was another fun thing related to our wedding. There's a lady I go to church with who is an artist. She paints, and I actually did a painting of Han and Leia silhouettes, actually with our names at the top, and then has said "I love you, I know" at the bottom. And I was like, this is so perfect for us.
Awesome. Yeah, it was
and like it had our wedding date at the bottom and everything.
They have it hanging up.
Oh yeah, it's hanging in our living room. It's wonderful, right by the door. Which it's so funny because I always say I'm such a big Lord of the Rings person, but if you go to my house, there's Star Wars stuff like everywhere.
Yeah, but you have almost the entire Fellowship in pop dolls, so.
All I need is Frodo, Sam, and Boromir. Then it will be complete.
That's awesome.
Be complete.
There you go.
That's very appropriate for.
Although, if you do, in my house, I do have two, technically, Hobbit things hanging on my wall. One of which also was a wedding gift from Austin.
From me.
He commissioned a friend of his who also does art and put one of my favorite quotes. Technically, it's the movie version, not the book version, but I like both of them.
Yeah, it still works.
It still works.
There's only slight difference.
But it's the quote that Thor in Oakenshield says, if more of us valued home above gold, this world would be a merrier place. And it actually looks like Bag End on it. It looks
you know how hard it was describing how Bag End looks to a person who's never seen the movies?
Alyssa hasn't seen...
No, she's not. And I was like, just Google it.
Oh my gosh.
It's literally it's a little round green door.
Yes, all you need to do is just do a round green circle and maybe put a little gold dot on there. And then actually, this was my most recent. My husband for Christmas found on Etsy.
Should have talked about this last week.
I know, I should have. But actually, it was from both him and his brother, but they got me Tariel's daggers.
Ooh,
which
cool.
are so cool. I had no idea. But yeah, like, we have so much Star Wars stuff at home, like in the hallway, in our living room, just whatever, and you think I like more Star Wars than Lord of the Rings.
Her husband is ambitious. He's eventually going to make a complete set of Mandalorian armor.
Oh yeah, that's his big thing. Oh yeah, he's got a helmet already.
He's already got the helmet. Yeah.
What? Wait, how does he... He's got to show me how to do this, because, like, well, it's not Star Wars, but, like, I've been wanting to make Voltron armor. Like, really bad. Yeah.
There you go.
But...
he tells me his plans. He has
you
some
can 3D
kind of...
print a lot of stuff.
Yes, he either wants to try to do 3D print. I don't remember where he got the helmet from. Might have been Etsy or some.
Etsy,
it's somewhere online.
Okay, I just need to do shopping.
And he actually has like a paper, like a stencil layout of like the different pieces of the armor that he's gonna like buy plastic for. He has a Nerf gun that he's actually like sanded down and he's gonna paint, and modify it to look like a Mandalorian gun. He really wants to do this, but it's been a project, years in working.
Is he gonna like show it off at like a?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
He's hoping.
See, I'm not that ambitious. I don't have much for design. I don't have much capability in design. But my goal, I do want to try to get into the 501st.
That would be pretty cool.
Because you can go on to the 501st website, because they literally, part of the entry is literally just being able to possess, hopefully make a movie accurate or show accurate or whatever have you set of pretty much a costume. They usually do like stormtrooper armor, things like that, but they literally have an entire list of almost every character in Star Wars existence. Clones, commandos, stormtroopers,
Who would you want to?
I would do Thrawn. I would do Thrawn.
Not surprised.
I would do Thrawn.
I figured either Thrawn or maybe Captain Rex.
I could not do Rex. That's too much work. I have too much respect for Captain Rex to do it. Sorry. I would butcher it. No, I don't want to do that to Rex. Rex, greatest character.
It's the Kiwi accent.
It's the D. Bradley Baker Kiwi. Who is not Kiwi in any way, shape, or form. He's white. He's very, very white. You seen D. Bradley Baker?
I never would have guessed.
D. Bradley Baker did the voice of the clones. And many others. This is not his only acting resume, but the clones and Perry the Platypus. Fun fact.
What?
He did Perry the Platypus.
Wait. So is this the same guy who does a lot of sound effect, animal noises and stuff like that?
I bet you he does.
Because okay,
there are a couple guys out there that do.
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about. I just couldn't remember his name because he was at Salt Lake Comic Con a couple years ago, and I went to the Twisted Tunes panel that they had. So they had the script of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and they all did their own cartoon voices for each character.
Oh.
So I think he did Appa at one point or whatever, and he did Daffy Duck also at some point. There was Pinky and Brain who also were Harry and Ron or something. Yeah. Anyway, it's super cool. That's such a
yes, D. Bradley Baker. He probably has. Oh, by the way, I'm just finding this out now. For those of you who may remember before the Disney acquisition, there was a animated series that was going to come out called Star Wars Detours. It apparently is back on.
Really?
Apparently they're going to finish it. It is a non-canon animated comedy show put on by the people who did Robot Chicken.
Oh boy.
Apparently it's back on because it was canceled for when Disney acquired it. Apparently it's back. Didn't know this, just found that out because D. Bradley Baker is listed. 2019,
oh, wow.
Star Wars Detours, Jabba the Hutt. But yes,
D. Bradley Baker's Jabba the Hutt.
Yes, but D. Bradley Baker's acting page on IMDb is 570
Holy
notes,
moly.
so he probably has done a lot of animal type things. You know?
That does sound about right. How many did we determine Jim Cummings has done?
Everything.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see.
Jim Cummings has done everything.
Yeah, Jim Cummings is in every
cartoon.
Yeah, every other cartoon in existence, pretty much. Yeah, he voices my favorite characters, Tigger and Pooh. I love those two.
What I think is funny is that he has to talk to himself sometimes. He's doing
sometimes.
Pooh Bear and then they'll redo and do Tigger too and stuff.
Yeah.
He's talking to himself.
There's a video out there. I don't know if it's at a Comic-Con or what it is, but he actually reads lines from Darth Vader in A New Hope in his Pooh voice. Yeah. It's so funny.
See, that's what the Twisted Tunes thing does. I think it might have been
I was say it sounded like it was kind of the same thing.
I loved when he's all he's like, she must have taken the escape plans with her in the pod. Oh bother.
Oh bother. It made it so much better.
Also, for those of you Overwatch fans out there, for D. Bradley Baker, he plays Hammond, aka Wrecking Ball, the literal hamster in a giant metal ball.
D. Bradley Baker's the hamster?
Yes, D. Bradley Baker is the hamster. I'm currently looking at his thing right here because I just saw, and I want to confirm this. I don't know if I'll be able to because it's probably he did
IMDb is so useful.
He's done animals. Yeah, he's done a lot of. Because literally here he's got a whole bunch of animals listed on Gravity Falls.
But you gotta be really talented to do a lot of animal noises.
Oh yeah.
There are some noises I can barely do.
I'm trying to find. Good grief! Yeah, they have them listed for all of the.
Everything.
All of the
you're gonna be on there for a while.
Well, no, I'm trying to find one in particular. It's just I could just look it up. I probably should just look it up.
See, I like doing that with a lot of anime voice people, because then you're just okay, what have they been in? And then you're like, holy crap, they've been in all these animes I've seen.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize it.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, I thought they sounded familiar.
Some you can pick out right away. Others you're like, I had no idea. Never would have guessed.
Scrolling. Where is he not? Okay, maybe he's not.
Eventually he'll find it.
In the Tangled animated series, lists D. Bradley Baker as Pascal, and I was really hoping he was Pascal in the movie.
Oh, dang.
He is not. Apparently, Ron Perlman was the Stabbington brother. I didn't know that Ron Perlman was even in that movie, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know Ron Perlman was in Tangled. Great movie. Now we're talking about Disney, though.
Yeah. We'll do Disney another episode, probably.
Probably?
Yes,
we're going to be doing Disney another episode.
We're going to be doing Disney. Although technically we are doing Disney because Star Wars is Disney.
Yeah, but we're going to have more dedicated to Disney.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, Disney in general. We'll go classic Disney, new Disney, what have
Disney's
you.
Midlife Crisis. We'll talk about that.
Hey, I've liked some of Disney's Life.
I know, but I just call it Disney's Life. I still call it that because I like to make fun of it.
I know, it is kind of funny.
Yes. So yeah, lots of Star Wars in this home, in this family.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have like a kind of a funny question that I just remembered.
Okay.
Sure.
So, and it's like, it's kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm wondering, there was a lot of talk about this after like The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
What was your guys' reaction to shirtless Kylo Ren?
Shirtless Ben Swallow, as the internet calls him.
Yes!
My only thought was his pants are too high.
I think what, like, I just laughed a lot about was that, like, I mean, it would have been much more natural had he been, like, putting his shirt on or taking it off or something. Like, it's something really natural. But instead, it was pivot, turn, boom.
Well, my question is, how long was he waiting for that?
I know Ray's gonna call me.
Stormtroopers are like, why is he's been had his shirt off for 6 hours? Why?
You know, that suit gets really hot. You know,
that is my only question. Like, how long was he waiting for Ray to appear?
It's getting cold.
Yeah, hurry up, Ray, I'm freezing.
It's cranking the heat. His room's the warmest in the entire...
I mean, frankly, I did kind of have that same thought for a second. I'm like, his pants are kind of high up.
Very high.
Okay, he's shirtless. This is happening right now. And then Ray's just like, okay, what?
I also have a crack video idea for that scene that I need to bring to fruition.
Oh yeah, another thing, Austin and I, we have other YouTube channels. We make a lot of fun fan videos.
Oh, goody.
We make what they call crack videos, which basically are just...
Oh, those are so funny.
Oh,
okay, you know they are. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anytime we mention them,
they have nothing to
do.
do.
Like, crack.
As far as we are aware, they have nothing to do with actual crack.
No,
although I'm pretty sure
it just means like crazy, silly, goofy. Yeah. So.
Or yeah, you
like
take...
when you're on crack.
Yeah.
That's probably why they call
maybe.
that.
Or maybe the first crack videos ever made, they were on crack. Who knows?
Maybe.
But basically, yeah, it's just taking like scenes from movies, TV shows, and putting them like to music that maybe fits a scene or audio clips from other things.
Mostly, it's for fun.
It's so much fun to do. I first started making a crap ton of Hobbit videos. Moved on to the sequel trilogy for Star Wars.
Do you only have the sequels?
Yeah, I've only done the sequels. You're the only one that's done
That's right,
stuff with the original.
I have the right for pretty much all the movies.
Yeah, see, he's done some as well, which are really fun. And we actually still have videos we plan to make. We do. Haven't got, at least I do.
I have run out of ideas. I am fresh out. I got this one in my head, and that's pretty much all I got right now. I can't tell you what it is because it's too funny. And
kind of a slight tangent that still has something to do with what we're talking about. Are you a Dragon Ball Z fan?
I know of Dragon Ball Z, but I have not actually watched it.
So you probably haven't seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
It's a YouTube series. They kind of like just make.
Oh wait, no.
show.
I haven't seen. I've seen Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell. I think that Invader Zim is.
They are probably quite different.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's pretty funny, but yeah.
No, so if there's any Dragon Ball Z Abridged fans out there,
Morgan's Dragon Ball, her Dragon Ball Z Abridged videos are hysterical. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z.
I say Austin hasn't seen it. He loves them.
so funny.
Oh boy.
I mean, just for whatever reason, there's so many clips that I realize just work so well with some of the scenes. They're this one's one of my favorites I've ever done.
Should you just direct them to your channel so they can watch?
I know. I'll put a link to our channels, but there is a part where the character Vegeta, if you're again familiar with Dragon Ball Z, he has his shirt off and he just yells, "Look at my nipples! Look at them!" And I put that to the scene of shirtless Kylo Ren when like Rey turns around and suddenly it pairs to him, "Look at my nipples."
You better hope Mom doesn't hear you saying that.
I don't care.
Yes, please watch our videos. We're not trying to just like smooch off your views, but we just like sharing what we've made.
Same here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I haven't added anything to my YouTube channel for years because after having children, it's like it's impossible to get around to because you put so much time and effort into those.
Oh yeah.
It is very time consuming and stuff, but it's so awesome when people actually
fulfilling.
watch your stuff. So like,
I find making videos is very fulfilling. I love being able to take something from concept to actual creation, and I find I do that best and easiest with editing videos.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You do have your Etsy business. You make clothes.
Oh yeah. Well, like, it first was like kind of cosplay for little girls and stuff. And then like that just got a little bit like the demand was great, but I got way too busy with it. It was very overwhelming, and so I couldn't really do it anymore. And
so do you not do it much anymore?
I don't do that really so much. I do American Girl doll clothes, which it's gotten a little bit overwhelming too. So I'm taking a break, but yeah, I do American Girl doll clothes now. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Those are series of books, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
yeah.
American Girls, yeah.
Okay, I read them when I was a kid because I'm sitting there going, I think that's what I read. I wasn't quite sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I read all those books. I love those books. Those are fun. I never had any of the dolls, sadly. But yeah, apparently we all have YouTube channels.
I didn't know that Melissa had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You really are as much of a nerd as we are.
Glad to hear it. And speaking of Melissa's children, we are filming this 9 o'clock at night now, and probably should get her back to her family. So we probably should wrap it up. I'm sorry to say, this has been fun.
Yes.
Probably have to have you back sometime.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you come back.
Yay! I would love to.
Yeah,
yes. What is on the docket for next episode? It's our 9/9 review.
Yeah, next episode we're recording on Thursday, which is the night of the premiere of the new Brooklyn Nine-Nine season. 9/9! So what actually we're going to do is, I have work that night, but when I get off, we're all going to watch 9/9 with our family, and probably also late at night we're going to quickly record our review on the episode and also talk about 9/9 and why we love it.
Oh, great show. I could go on for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't, though, but I can't.
We can go on for hours about all the things we want to talk about,
Also
to be perfectly honest.
True. Honestly, I've got hours of more material on this very topic alone, but...
On 9/9 or on Star Wars still?
On Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
But
we've had those hours-long conversations.
It's getting late. Don't want to keep you from your family, so...
Thank you again so much
for
messaging me in the first place and saying, hey, mind if you have another guest star? I say guest star, which, I mean, you are a star. Come on.
Guest star.
Yeah, yes, of course. No, I'm just kidding.
She's internet famous like us.
But yeah, thank you so much. We've enjoyed having you.
Well, I loved being here. This was really fun. So.
And saying, if anyone else, ever wants to be on our podcast and talk about things with us, we're open to that. We'd love to hear from you.
This is assuming you live in Idaho.
Yeah.
Or if you want to somehow phone in, I don't know if that's something we can do.
I don't know.
You gotta be careful with that.
Yeah. But it's been so fun. We'll have you back, definitely.
Yay, that would be awesome.
Next episode will be Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We look forward to that. Thank you again to Melissa for joining us. And this is... Oh, you want to do your quick little plug?
Am I always going to be doing the plug? I wouldn't mind doing the plug. Yes, this has been your Forcecast. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And if you really liked it, then make sure to subscribe. We want to keep making these and want to reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for joining in. Good night, and may the Force be with you.